Once again, if you have a question for Coach, please chat me or use the hand feature. We will start off with Leaf Kareem.
Coach, hope you're doing well. Just kind of diving right in, you obviously faced three extremely talented scorers in the Big Ten back to back to back. It was really tough, but what did you kind of glean from it, and what do you think? How do you think that can help you defensively moving forward?
Oh, I think Coach left. Hold on. Sorry about that.
Oh, never mind.
Yep. He must have jumped right off.
All right.
Coach, you there? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right. Leaf, go ahead. Start us off.
Coach, good to have you back here. You faced three extremely talented scorers in the Big Ten just to start your conference schedule. How do you think that helps you when you're preparing defensively for your next opponent?
Well, I mean, that's the Big Ten, right? You got talented players on every team, and we certainly faced three of the top scorers in our league. And we have a better understanding as a team of what players are capable of. And so we have to do a better job of being disruptive. You're not going to stop any of those guys from scoring their points because they're going to get opportunities, and the offense is designed for them to score. You just want them to work hard and shoot a bad percentage, if you will, if you're talking about perfect world defense. And so for us, you know, I felt like down the stretches of all those games, we provided a little bit more resistance than we did early on to make it a little bit more difficult on all those guys to score the basketball. But we have to come out from the get-go with that sense of urgency and being very disruptive from the start. But they're also talented players, and you're not going to pitch a shutout.
Dylan Spilko.
Coach, Caduce and Julian have struggled to put up points, especially in the last two games. What's the message to them as they look to bounce back against Northwestern?
Dylan, to be honest with you, as a big guy, a player in general, you got to manufacture points. It's too hard to come down there, run to the block, post up, throw me the ball, and go to work. Those days are over with. You know, those guys, you know, and not just those guys, but just in general, you've got to get offensive rebound putbacks. You know, you get one of those a half, we're at 4 points. We get two rim runs in transition. All right, we're at 8 points. We shoot two free throws. We're talking 10 points before we run a play. So we have to do a better job of manufacturing points in those situations. And now all of a sudden, he catches the ball 5 times on the block and he gets up 5 shots. He catches the ball 4 other times and they get double teamed, or, you know, some traffic comes and he has to kick it out. You're looking at a double-digit game for the most part because you manufacture points. So, you know, we've got to do a better job of manufacturing points across the board. And that's getting to the free throw line. That's getting out in transition. That's getting paint touches. And once we do that and continue to do that on a steady basis, that'll make it a lot easier for us to score the basketball because we're not always going against a set defense.
Jacob Meyer.
Hey, Coach. In your first press conference after you took over, you said that change is hard. Since then, have things gone as you expected, or what's maybe gone differently than you expected?
Well, it's never a layup, right? In anything when you go through change, it's never a layup. And so I really like to resolve the young men that we have on our roster. We've continued to go out and battle and fight, and every day is different. Every day presents new challenges. And, you know, just making sure that we're locked in and we're connected as a team is something that we try to spend a little bit of time on every day or every other day, just to make sure that we're all moving in the same direction. And, you know, there's some days are better than other days, right? And that's how you feel certain days. But, you know, getting our guys to understand that, be grateful for the day, be grateful for your opportunity, and make the most of it because tomorrow is not promised, is a message that we share with our guys over and over again.
John Stepner.
Hey, Coach. Kind of piggybacking off that, you know, obviously your first game taken over was against Northwestern. Now you're going to Northwestern, a little bit of symmetry here. How do you think your team has changed between that game and heading into tomorrow, whether it be on the floor, off the floor? How do you think you've changed since then?
We've changed a lot since then. You know, that first game against Northwestern, we started implementing some different things we haven't done before. We have a little bit better feel for some of those changes that we did make. Going through the games that we've gone through since that point made us a better team. You go to Barclays and you play a Florida team at a neutral site, and you know that you can compete with one of the better teams in the country. you roll into conference play, and we don't get off to the start that we want. We don't have the number of wins that we want, but we also know that we're 2 possessions, we're 3 possessions here, we're 4 possessions there from it being a different outcome. And that's something that we talk about, and we watch film, and we try to get better from, and we try to limit our mistakes. The one good thing for me is I'm not seeing, and our staff is not seeing the same mistakes repeatedly over and over again. So that means we are growing and we are learning.
Ryan McFadden.
Hey, Coach. When you're reevaluating these last few games and some of the games in general this year, what are you seeing is the reason? What are you seeing is the reason kind of for the slow starts this team is having early in games?
I wish I could tell you that. That's what we're trying to rectify. So we're going to tweak with our practice plan schedule and come out and do a little bit more fast action, fast hitting drills right from the get-go, and maybe that will carry over into the games, opposed to the build up into it. So we'll see, but it's something that we talk about. It's something that we've acknowledged that we have to do a better job at, and hopefully that starts to change the Northwestern game. But I don't have an answer for you. We talk about it, and we know we have to get better from it. And I think a lot of it needs to be just, let's lock in on things that we can control, right? We talk about energy generating behaviors. Let's just lock into those, and everything else should flow for us. You get lost on making plays outside of the offense, and it makes your offense flow a little bit better, and the basket gets a little bit bigger from my experiences.
Sam Ostry.
Hey, Coach, these last couple of games, you've been in the games up until the final few minutes. So what's the message to the team about closing out some of these games and finishing the job? And how is that something you guys practice and work on?
Well, first of all, we talk about it, we acknowledge it. You want to start fast, you want to finish strong. That's something we've talked about, and we need to start doing. And then it's just a matter of attention to detail. It's showing film, it's showing breakdowns where we need to get better, breakdowns that we can't have. And then from there, let's apply it to the court and make sure that we have great level of communication with one another out there on the court. Nothing's going to go as completely planned, right? So we can go in there, we can put together the best game plan in the world, but they got other coaches that are really good. They got really good players, and they can do different things. And so a lot of it is just going to be multiple efforts of wanting to make something happen with your energy level and communicating and just flying around and covering for each other defensively. And then offensively, it's catching a basketball in the scoring area and making sure Maryland gets a good shot at every possession now.
Jacob, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. It can be tough, obviously, to bounce back from a 0-4 start in conference, especially as competitive as the Big Ten is. Is it difficult to focus on kind of a one game at a time mentality, or to, put that into your guys' heads when the big picture isn't what you guys want it to be?
No, that's the only way you can approach it, to be honest with you. And it's not one game, it's one possession at a time. That's the mindset. That's something we've talked about the last couple of days. It's one possession at a time. One possession at a time, one possession at a time. Let's try to win every possession. And the more possessions that we win will give us a better chance to win the ball game. And then that goes to one game, the next game. So for us, it's one possession at a time. And the most important game is our very next one. And that's our mindset of what we need to do to accomplish what we can still accomplish. Last year, Maryland was 1-5 at one point in conference season. And so, obviously we want to start racking up some wins, but we do have some guys that have been on this team that have kind of experienced this to a certain degree and can provide some leadership to our new guys and say, hey, listen, we've been here before. This is what we have to do moving forward. And there's still a lot of conference games left, but we can't go out and not take advantage of each one that we have.
All right, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.